Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bright Ideas Podcast. As always, I am your host, Trent Deersmid, and I'm here to help you discover what is working in e-commerce today by shining a big bright light on the tools, the tactics, and the strategies in use by today's leading entrepreneurs. On the show with me today is a fellow by the name of Warren Carter. Warren is a serial entrepreneur, and over his career, his favorite sales story came from his 12-year run with a company. In 1989, he jotted a short script which included the standard sales line of which is the best day for you, Tuesday or Thursday, a line I've used many times myself. He picked up the phone, dialed the number of a billion-dollar corporation, and asked to speak to the president. That phone call led to an appointment the following Thursday, which led to an additional 300,000 subscribers and $60 million for his business. That call taught Warren to be fearless in picking up the phone to call prospects. These days, Warren is focused on leveraging these sales skills to grow his recently launched Amazon wholesale business. Warren, that is a heck of a story. Thank you so much for making some time to be my guest. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So I love the fact that you just picked up the phone and called that guy. I used to do that all the time in my very first career as a stockbroker. And actually, there's a guy by the name of James Clear. He wrote this book called Atomic Habits. And if you Google Trent Deersmid and the paperclip theory, you'll see an article about, how many times I used to dial the phone.
That's great.
It was ridiculous. 25,000 dials in my first year. But anyway, I digress. So we're here to talk about you and Amazon. And I know you just started. I think you just finished your first 30 days of sales.
We did.
Using the wholesale model. And what's the number you put on the board?
12,000.
All right. So $12,000, I think, is a heck of a start to growing your Amazon business, especially in your first month. And that's why I wanted to get you on the show, because I know there are a lot of folks who have the same ambitions that you have and the same ambitions that I have, and they struggle, they get hung up. And so I'm hoping that the conversation you and I are about to have will serve both as an inspiration as well as a kind of an open book for those folks so that they can go on to become more successful. So let's start kind of, why Amazon? You got this guy, you got all this business experience and so forth and real estate and here, there, and everywhere. And now you want to sell on Amazon. What the hell do you want to do that for?
Well, we're getting, while other people our age are thinking about retiring, we're not. And my wife and I sat down about a year ago this month, and we said, what are we going to do with the rest of our lives? And she came up with the idea, well, why don't we sell on Amazon? I got some friends that are doing that. They're liking it. I go, what's that all about? I had no idea what it was about. Well, 5 months later, we had an order in at China for thousands of dollars of a product that we were sourcing on private label. And a week after that order was produced, actually, I heard about the wholesale formula.
Yep.
And I could not sleep. And I just there's no way. There's no way we can bring this private label product in. We're going to die. It's going to kill it, take all of our money. And I finally, literally in 2 days, I got in touch with the Chinese manufacturer, canceled the order, left a significant amount of money on the table. I said, keep it, goodbye. I'll never call you. You'll never call me. That's it. And they were so pissed. But you know what? I slept like a baby that night. And from that point forward, we jumped into the wholesale formula, jumped into webs, jumped into this, and where we are today. And here we are since February. We actually just now launched this last month in August. And it's taken us that long to learn and get ready and build up the pipeline and all that stuff. So it's exciting, exciting.
So you said a whole bunch of things there that people might not know what it is. So let's unpack some of it. So private label, explain to me in the short version, the difference between private label and wholesale.
Well, private label is picking a particular product and making it unique to you, trademarking it and having it manufactured and going to Amazon and selling it using the Amazon system. It's a long, hard road, very expensive, very risky.
Yep, because if you pick wrong, you're done.
You're done.
Okay. So, and wholesale is?
Wholesale is discovering already products that are already being sold on Amazon, and you can determine which ones are successful, which ones are profitable, what they are, and you can contact the manufacturer, hopefully join up, and over time, get an opportunity to join up and become one of their sellers on Amazon. So it's a much less risky venture, costs less money to do generally, and it's just, the risk is just totally different.
Oh yeah. And folks, if you're new to my show and you don't know anything about my history, I also started in private label, was not very successful at it, discovered wholesale. And within 5 months, my business had grown to over $100,000 a month, and it just kept on going. And the beauty of wholesale is, you know what you're buying. You know how know how well it sells. You know how many reviews it has. You're just simply, it's a relationship business where you are trying to convince the manufacturer that they would be better off to have you as one of their sellers versus not.
Yeah.
All right. So we've discovered, we covered the business model. You talked about the wholesale formula. Anyone can Google that. Essentially, it's a training course.
Right.
And you mentioned something by the name of webs. What's this webs thing all about?
Well, I discovered webs when we were going through the training course for the TWF training course. And actually, I saw a video of you at one of their annual events talking about webs. I go, what is webs? And I watched the video and I go, oh my goodness, it's the yellow brick road. That is what we need or want. I tried to buy it on the spot. And then you said, no, you're not allowed to buy it. We're not selling it right now. And I go, what? You don't want to take my money? So, we figured it out that you only do it at certain times. So, when the time was appropriate, I had my money in my hand, practically cash. Here, take this, sign me up, get me going. I want that yellow brick road. And we use it constantly.
Okay. So and this is really why I wanted people to hear from you instead of me, why it's beneficial. So you get a training course, and a training course is great because it has all these videos, and conceptually it teaches you what to do, right?
Yeah, it teaches you about the business, about the products, about the opportunity, and it associates you with other people of like mind and like experience, and it gets you related with them. So it sets the system up, but it's not the system. I mean, you or Webb's has developed the steps, the processes, the standard operating procedures that without those, you just wander around the field. You wouldn't know what to do. You'd think you're doing something great, and you're off doing something not great.
And were you trying to succeed before you purchased Webb's? Were you trying to land accounts wholesale?
No. I was just learning how to spell wholesale. I mean, I was literally at the very beginning, completely ignorant, admitting it, and just saying, "What's next, boss? What's next, boss?" Okay. And that's what happened. That's what I was doing.
And when you bought Webb's, did you sit down and read it from one end to the other?
You kidding me? I don't read anything. No, you said don't do that. I obeyed you, which I obey everybody in this business, and one step at a time. So I went way over to the sourcing, and that's where we started. And the first thing I did was get a hold of my VA, my virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And I said, you've been exposed to webs. Yes. Great. Okay, we're going to use this. Oh, great. Now I know what to do. So it was awesome. So the two of us teamed up, spent several sessions talking about what we're going to do, and away we went.
So how long did you, from the day you had that conversation with your VA to we're going to use Webb's, we're going to follow the procedures, and the procedures are just checklists. I mean, they're super checklists with a high level of detail. So there's no training needed for a VA because they're self-explanatory. And that's what I say to people. It's plug and play. You assign the checklist to the VA and they do the thing. How long did it take you to get your first account?
Our first account? Well, we got our first account in verbally in July and practically in August. So we started that process in May, and it I'd say it took us a couple of months to build up our pipeline, do the extractions, and fill in our CRM with emails and all that stuff. It's a
Yeah.
lot of detail doing it. So we got it filled up close to 1,000, and then we started campaigns. We started email campaigns in July.
In July.
In
okay.
July.
And you landed an account in August, and then $12,000 in revenue in your first 30 days.
And our second one is the one I worked. The second one for over 2 months. It was our first one. It was before the one we actually got, and they just kept him on around, and one thing after another. That second one, or that first one, the one we really wanted, the one that we're buying from literally today.
Yep.
They stiffed my call. We had a planned meeting for me to present to them. They never showed. West Coast, and I was so ticked. I worked days and days and hours getting my brand health report ready to go, and I was the Zoom all set up, and I was sitting there waiting, and they weren't there. And so I texted them, I emailed them, I tried to live call, left a voice message, nothing. Half hour goes by, nothing. I go, you son of a gun. So I go, wow, what a lesson to learn. So I got to lick my wounds. So that Friday, that was a Monday. That Friday, I said, I could not stand it. So I tried to call him, wouldn't answer my phone. I thought, well, he knows my caller ID. So I used our Grasshopper number, which is an 800 number. He didn't know that. I used that to outdial him, and he picked up the phone. It's like a cold call, So, and I says, hey, Eli, this is Warren Carter. Yeah. I goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I meant to call you, a family emergency, whatever. What my wife was going, yeah. I go, you know what? I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I says, well, when can we meet next? And will you be able to make it? Yes, I will. My sales manager will be there. And you know what? And he did make the next one. And then from that one, it led to a vice president meeting. And literally today we have product going into Amazon because I didn't walk away after he stiffed me. And we stuck with it.
Let's unpack some details here because I want to make sure people really understand how all of this happened. So we're going to talk about two parts. First of all, I want to talk about the campaign and what all that meant and what you had to do, and how I want you to explain, how Webs was beneficial to you in that regard. And then I want to talk about this phone and the sales skills and the persistence, because that's every bit as important in this business as having great systems. So what was your first campaign? Walk us through what that was.
Well, our first campaign was 100. We do campaigns in 100 emails. And,
so you found 100 products that
we had hundreds.
That fit the filters.
Right.
And they were all in a spreadsheet, and you put them in a CRM. Okay.
Right.
And then
they were in the CRM first. Yeah. And then I went through this program called GMAS, and GMAS guided me through, and that's what is recommended by Webs. I followed it it took me a while, step by step to do that. I had to do it a few times, and it just was so perfect. And it set up those 100, put them in little groups, and then it said, email it. So I emailed the 100, and it came back and says, can't do that. You can only do 50 at a time. Okay. All right. So then I had to do 50 one day and 50 the next day. And then out they went. I go, man, my phone was buzzing and clicking, and it was all this stuff coming back because I was tracking all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately we got some that came back that said, we don't take Amazon, or we want to know more about your business. Do you have a brick and mortar store? All this kind of stuff. So I thought, wow, I got some people to talk back with. So those replies, out of the 100, 50 opened it, which means 50 didn't even open it. So we recycle those.
Yep.
My VA recycles this. And then of the 50 that did open it, we had 15, I think it was 17 that actually replied to me with something. They said something, they sent a link or a form or whatever. So I thought, wow, I got 17 to call back, to recontact, to tell our story to. The others, the 33 that didn't, we recycled those. So we put them right back into the hopper, and we went back out the next time with those. So we've done 2 campaigns of 100. and it was the beginning of every week. I go out at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, so that when they come into work, they're coming in and I'm at the top of their email list. So
and out of the 100, that first campaign you got an account, right?
yeah, we got an account. The second one we got another one.
Another account.
Yeah.
So the takeaway here that I want people to understand, because people come into this business all the time and they have misaligned expectations, and misaligned expectations result in frustration, which results in people giving up. So out of 100 emails, you got one account. The takeaways there are the success rate of versus emails sent is 1%, which is right in line with what it has been for me. But if you look at the 17 that replied to you, technically you got 1 out of 17 where there was a dialogue. Now you've sold lots of stuff in your career, right?
Yep.
How does 1 in 17 compare to all the other stuff that you've sold?
It's
good,
great.
bad, average?
It's actually very good, because those 17 came from the 50.
Correct.
So I had really a third of the 50 that opened it said something to me. I go, whoa, that's great. And then we got, one turned into 3 brands with that one contact. So now I look at, and that's the $12,000. So I look at that and I go, wow, that was pretty good. And then we did another one, and another one came out. This is the one that stiffed me on the second 100 that we sent out. Yeah. And that's going to develop into $8,000 a month. So between 2 campaigns, we've got our start.
What'd that do for up here?
Oh, it was just huge, because I hear all these stories, we got $1 million the first month, and it took me 6 years to get one account. I mean, I heard all this stuff. I said, you know what, we're going to be ourselves, whatever it is. And I had a little bit of a clock on me, because the company that I contract with sort of wants to get rid of me. And I go, okay, I need to get my acting gear. So anyhow, my expectations were a year from now, I want to be doing $10,000 a month in profit a year from now. And I'm going, a year from my launch, I go, man, this is a good start towards that.
Well, because you're already at $12,000.
$3,000.
Yeah, I mean,
we're already at a third of that, and that's it's our first 2 campaigns. So, we're getting ready to do more campaigns.
Yep. So one of the other, so let's actually hold on. One more question. Yeah. People, when they start off, especially if they haven't been in business before, analysis paralysis is super, super common. Yeah. They make lists about making lists. They get ready to get ready. Right. Here's an area where some people can get hung up picking. Oh, I got to pick a niche. I gotta have one niche. Yeah. And while I think in the long term, because we now have a niche that we're focused on more than the rest, but at the beginning, I didn't pick a niche. Right. Did you worry about analyzing all the categories and looking at all the numbers and trying to pick a niche, or did you just say, "Ha, shotgun, boom"?
It was the shotgun boom, but I had the economic profile that you got to meet this. You got to be what we call in the green when it comes to the amount of money we make on that. If you're not in the green, you don't exist. I don't look at you, and I don't even know what the product is. In fact, I don't know what the product is until actually after they reply to the email and the campaign. That's the first time I actually open up. I go, oh, men's underwear. I didn't know that.
Did Webs specifically define for you what in the green was?
Yeah, it was in the extractions, where you take the extractions and you put it into the spreadsheet, and then over to the right is those columns which says, here's how much money you can make from this, if all the numbers are correct. This is how much money you can make per month. I go, and it's dark green, light green, middle green, and I go, if you're in the green, baby, I'm looking for you. And that is like everything to me, because that's where my focus is.
Yep. So you, like me, probably got a lot of replies from people that said, we don't want any more Amazon sellers. Have you yet been successful? I mean, it sounds like you have, because the guy kind of blew you off, which is the metaphorical equivalent of telling you he didn't want any more sellers. But have you been successful in converting one of those no's into a yes?
Well, both of my first two were no's. They weren't flat out no's, but they were no's in the process. Like, yeah, I don't know about you,
Yeah.
where's your store? I mean, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I had to overcome that. And we had strategies for overcoming that. It just takes a lot of time. You just
Yeah.
can't push. It's not slam, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of thing. It's got to, I've learned that over the years. So,
Yeah, anyone who's been in business for more than an hour and a half understands that relationships are not formed from a
no,
phone call. They are
no.
formed from a series of congruent communications coming from the place of I want to help
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
time.
the one brand owner manager that I work with, the second one that's coming in, he calls me sir. I mean, he was so impressed. In fact, what he said is, see, he originally turned my brand health report down, turned it down, and this is after we actually had the meetings and everything. And I go, well, we did all that work, 2 months of work. He stiffed me. I got him back, reeled him back in, and now he's saying no. He says, but this is the bottom of the email. He says, but you've done so much work. You've helped us so much. We saw who you really are. We want you to become a seller. And I'm thinking to myself, a seller with no obligation? I mean, this is just awesome. I'm going to fulfill the obligation.
Yeah.
I'll work at it, but no contract, because I gave them a contract, what we do and all this stuff. They didn't want to sign that. So here we are. They were impressed because of my patience, my willingness to do the work without compensation, and so on and so on. And it took 2 months. 2 months.
How did you create this brand health report?
Oh man, it's kind of a claim to fame for us, but not really. It came from TWF originally. Then we went to Webs. Webs had its version. TWF had its version. My wife and I looked at it and says, I like some of each. I don't like some of each. So we said, well, let's take it and let's make our brand health report. Got a Word document. We constructed it from what Webs had and what TWF had, and it took us days to fill that thing out. And we go, we can't do this for everyone, so that's not going to work. I mean, and then they turn it down. I go,
Yeah.
here, tell you what, let's skinny it way down. It was 10 sections, 10 points each, 100-point score, and it covered everything in the listings and the relationship with the brand owner. I said, let's teach our VA to do that.
Yeah.
So I taught her how to do we call it the mini brand health report, which is just a microcosm of the big one. And then so she takes that, fills it out, scores it, attaches it to the contact in our CRM, puts the score in there, and then I filter them down so the lowest score comes up first. And these
Yeah.
are every reply. So when we send out a campaign, she takes care of all that, and every reply gets a mini brand health report. She just does it automatically. So then when I get ready to call them back, there it is. This is the one that needs us the most. This is their areas of that they need the work, and it's awesome. It's just
Yeah.
I couldn't talk with anyone without that, because that's my intel.
Well,
That's
yeah,
my
you have
that's
to
my
be
intel.
prepared. You have to be
Yeah,
prepared. I mean, because
yeah,
you're talking to this person for the first time. You have no rapport. They don't know who you are, and
yeah.
if it's not all about them, they're not going to be interested.
It was like that $1 billion corporation that I called. I knew they were hurting. I did my research.
Yeah.
Manufacturer told me about their problems. So when I hit that red hot button and said on that call, this is probably happening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's probably happening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're the pros. We can fix that next Tuesday or Thursday. What's best for you?
Yep.
So it was just that, and that's what I do with this. I
Yep.
find the problem areas, touch on them. Hopefully, I hit them, and then say next week, what's the best time to go over this?
So, what advice would you give the person who's listening to this interview and they're thinking, I want to get into this business? What would you tell them?
Well, make sure that you have your expectations set correctly. There's a lot of work. If you haven't been in this business before, you're going to start from the base. You're going to start learning. You're going to do things you think are, oh, that can't be right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You listen to the leader. You follow the experienced people. You follow TWF. You follow Webs. Do not deviate. Stick it out. Listen to the people that have been there before you, and just sort of like shut up and go with it. And I don't mean shut your brain off, but because you got experience and that's valuable. But there's things that are done here that are, it looks a little, that's okay. Follow that yellow brick road. Do what they tell you to do. It works. That would be my advice. And be humble. You gotta kind of set your ego off to the side, because, oh man, I've been 30 years doing this. I'm this. I got, you know, just set it aside. This is a whole new business. It's a million details. You know, you got a lot to learn. There's a steep learning curve here, baby. I don't care how old or good you are, how rich you are. Everybody goes up that same mountain. Everybody.
Yep.
So follow the leader up the mountain.
So let's close off with the idea of persistence. I'll tell a quick little story that I told you off camera. So I went to a trade show just this past week. And while there, I bumped into a brand and the fellow at the brand who we emailed exactly the way that we had described 2 years ago. And because they're in Salt Lake, and because I had won another account in Salt Lake, I at least managed to get an appointment with this guy, because I said, hey, I'm going to be in town anyway. Can I stop in? Can I buy you coffee? But of course, we'd been in business, I think, for all of about 4.5 seconds at that point in time. And so he was like, well, I'm not going to give you an opportunity, because they're a pretty big brand. They do about 8 or 9 million a year on Amazon.
Yeah. And show me your store on Amazon.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't have anything yet. Anyway, So saw him at the booth. We instantly recognized each other. He said, you know what? Really cool to see you. Glad you're here. Let's have lunch, because now we're going to do business together.
No, not coffee. It's lunch.
And he paid. So
that's good. That's awesome.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So my reason I bring that up is there is, like every other business on planet Earth, you need to put some time in, and you need to be persistent. Yeah. And if you do those things, it will get easier over time.
Yeah. You can't do this an hour a week, really. I mean, if you do, you can't. And one of my challenges in the beginning was I was working 5 days a week as a contractor for a company. And I told Kathy, I said, Kathy, we have got to change this. This is not going to work. If I don't have contiguous days in a row, I can't send out a campaign and do the follow-ups. And I cannot do that. I've got to have contiguous days in a row. So I renegotiated with the company I contract with, and I got 5 days cut down to 2 mornings. Mm-hmm. Took a pay cut, but not so substantial that, we couldn't make it. So I took a pay cut, 2 mornings, and now the rest of the week is mine for Amazon. And I tell you, that made a difference. Yeah. Now I can work the business.
Yeah. No question. All right, Warren. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you come on. Congratulations on the early success that you've had. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that you're just going to continue to grow your business, and you will achieve your goals. And my hope is that the people who have just watched this will be inspired, or maybe deterred and figure that this isn't for them, because it's not for everybody. But if they're inspired, that they will go on and have success as well. So thank you so much for making some time to be on the show.
You're very welcome, and welcome to those that are going to join up. So